Welcome back to Dark Corner Studios. My name is Aiden Wolf, and today we're pitting these two mics against each other, which by all accounts should be really an unfair comparison. Now you have the Shure SM58 versus the Behringer XM1800s. Now the Shure is $99, give or take. And the Behringer, this one's under $20. No give, no take. This one is the gold standard. And this one is, well, under $20. You think it's that cut and dry? Well, you just might be shocked by the answer here.
This is Aiden Wolf.
So to start out, let's take a look at the differences between these two microphones, figure out exactly how different they are, and then we're going to see if you can guess which mic is which after I treat the audio. It's always a fun game, and this time I promise I won't have any plosives. We'll do that in a bit though. But first, we're going to look at what makes these two microphones different, including their sound profiles. Now, I should start off by saying I love the SM58. I've always had it. It's a great tool in any toolbox. And I've never really stood behind Behringer products, so let's just say this is going to be interesting. With that being said, though, this is the David versus Goliath comparison of the XM1800s taking on the SM58. And while this should be a straight win, you might hear that it's a bit closer than you think. And why is that? I mean, shouldn't the SM58 be vastly different, especially at its price point? Not really. Yes, the Shure Capsule is better than the Behringer. There's no contest. The Shure does have a bit of a cleaner sound. It's crisper, straight out of the box with no processing. And the Behringer, well, it just sounds a tad muddy. But does that matter? Well, kinda. Depends on what you're using the microphone for. It could matter a whole bunch. But for the purposes of just recording a voice for like a podcast or a stream, I mean, really, this is worth a second look. So then, how do these microphones differ? Well, both are about £half, though the SM58 does take the title and a bit over. They both have an all-metal design with grills that really can't be bent easily. Now, the XM1800s does have a switch, where the SM58 does not, though they do have a version with a switch if that's important to you. Now, when you open them up, you can see both have a windscreen inside the dome for helping with plosives, which I guess doesn't really help all that much sometimes. The capsules show obvious differences, though. The XM1800s has the DM33, which as far as I can tell is a generic capsule that a lot of cheap brands have. The SM58 sports the legendary Unidyne capsule, which is housed in the RPW112. And the biggest difference between the two of these mics are those capsules, which we'll get to in a second. Now, if you look down the barrel of the Behringer versus the Shure, you're going to see pretty stark differences here as well. The Behringer is pretty basic. You've got leads coming off the capsule to the switch to the XLR connection. And on the SM58, everything's buried in wax. Now, this is a fail-safe to make sure none of the internals get smacked around while you're pounding nails with it. But that said, you can actually see the transformer there, which is a huge difference between these two microphones, and the one that makes this mic stand apart from the SM7B as well. That transformer gives the signal a boost as it leaves the mic. Now, if you're ever curious, you can actually remove the transformer from the signal chain and get even closer sound quality to the SM7B. And I tell you what, if this video hits 500 likes, I will do that to this mic if you want to see that. So let me know down in the comments and smash that like button. You can actually take this thing apart. All in all though, there isn't really much magic that goes into making a dynamic mic like this. That is, except for that capsule. And while I don't have any definitive proof of what's in the XM1800s's capsule, being that it's used in several different knockoff mics, I'm guessing you can tell how simple it is. But the SM58, well, that's a different story. Now, remember I said this was the gold standard? Well, it wins that award for several reasons, but let me sum it up like this. You can use this microphone for anything, including handheld. And that's where the differences come in. When you hold it, you're not going to hear much handling noise on the SM58, just normal use, as you can tell. This is the handling noise. And this is the handling noise on the Behringer XM1800s. Just holding it normally. It's pretty bad. Now, the big secret to that for the Shure SM58 is the internal shock mechanism on the capsule. Now, that has the capsule suspended and supported by something akin to a balloon, meaning it is the perfect mic for many things, including live stage work. Now, this is what gives the mic its crown. They're only $100 a piece, and no one will ever question their sound on stage. And a microphone like this, a handheld mic, that's a big win every single time. So then, the Shure SM58 basically wins the quality test through and through. But let's say you want a microphone that isn't going to be handled. Money is an issue, and you just want to get a decent sound to start your project. Can this microphone compete with the SM58? Well, you can tell right away that it's not far off so far. Let's see what happens when you treat them. All right then, we have both microphones treated, and here's how they sound. This comparison, I've got to say, is going to be a lot closer than the SM7B comparison. To be honest, I didn't really have to do much more to the XM1800s to get it to basically level with the SM58. Now, I could keep tweaking it, and if it's your daily driver, I do suggest that. But the only real difference to what I did to it is I brought down the mids just a little bit more in the Behringer than I did in the SM58. Everything else was basically the same. So as I switch back and forth between them, can you tell the difference? And I'm going to level with you. If you have some headphones on, you should be able to hear a very small differential between the two. But even then, this one is so much closer than the SM7B and the SM58. Let me know which one you think it is. I'll comment on some, so watch out for the answer. So I guess it comes down to, should you buy the Behringer XM1800s? If you're strapped for cash and you just need a mic to get your project off the ground, absolutely yes. They're dirt cheap. The sound quality difference isn't really that much. But, and that is a massive but, if you need to use this mic for anything but a stationary placement and you need to handle it at all, you should splurge for the SM58. The handling noise will drive you nuts. And I gotta say, when you're in post-production, that can be very maddening to try to get rid of. I'll have both listed in the video description if you want to browse them on Amazon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, drop-kick that like button. But if you really liked it, check out that other button. It's red. It's just begging for you to press it. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next video.